Right, right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Holoyim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Baruch Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that's scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson is edifying. The brother Shabab on back at you with another lesson. And going into the title, right? Two great resets are upon us. Financial freeze incoming, right? 2026, the year of the N.W.O and technology. All right. A Shalom Malak Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah Barakatah to you and your household. So yeah, going into the title, all right, we have two great resets that are upon us. All right. You have Esau's great reset, all right, which is, him trying to usher in this N.W.O, all right, and then you have Yahushai's true great reset, which is truly the only great reset that's going to be brought into play, because at the same time of this devil trying to bring his reset, all right, it's really the Heavenly Father, all right, ushering his, all right, because as he's trying to, fulfill in the fullness of his sufficiency, all right, he's going to be brought down, all right. His rulership is going to be brought down, and it's only going to last for a temporary minute, all right. And the Lord is allowing him to do that just to destroy him, to bring in his, you see. And Yahushai is going to, pretty much establish righteousness upon the earth, which is the true great reset, all right. That's why this place is going to be burnt with thermonuclear missiles, all right, because everything here has to be resetted all the way down to the elements, okay. So Yahushua is going to destroy this place with thermonuclear fire, all right, because fire is the greatest cleansing agent, all right, that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua uses, okay. So this place is going to be a great big altar, and it's going to be a sacrifice, okay, and the flames of these thermonuclear missiles is going to be the fire for that altar. You see, America being that great sacrifice, all right, that's going to be, sacrificed to be destroyed, all right, and usher in Yahushua's kingdom, okay. So something I wanted to read real quick that I was just reading, all right, when you go to the NLT, all right, because speaking about this great reset, right, when you go to Sirach, the 10th chapter, okay, it says in the GNT 10:1, it says a wise ruler will educate his people, and his government will be utterly, it's like it. A wise people will educate his people, and a wise ruler will educate his people, and his government will be orderly, right? And this is a place of what? No order, okay? And let's grab that real quick. This is Job. That's why this place is going to fail, because there's no order in this place, all right? As the scriptures tell you, right, in Isaiah, the 19th chapter, that Egypt shall fail, okay? Let me just grab that real quick. This is Isaiah 19:3, and it says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, right? And I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers, and them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards, all right. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule them, all right, shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So we have a fierce king that's in rulership, and his fierce king, all right, is a ruler of wickedness, man, all right. So when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, okay. That's why this place is mourning. That's why this place is diminishing. All right. That's why eventually this place, all right, will be destroyed. All right. And let's just grab this real quick. All right. Going back to Job. Hold on real quick. Job 10:20, saying that we was in a place of what? Of no order. Okay, this is 21. It says Job 10 and 21. Before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. Right. And this is what this place is, a land of darkness, a place that's a shadow of death. America. It says a land of darkness as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death without any order. You see? And where the light is as darkness. Yeah, because everything is as backwards. Okay. And here it is. He's trying to bring a great reset of even more wickedness multiplied upon the earth. Okay. So when you go to the GNT, Sirach 10:1, it says a wise ruler will educate his people and his government will be orderly. All right. So we obviously see that we don't have a wise ruler. Okay. We have a ruler that's a fierce king, right? And he's bringing disorderly conduct basically upon America. It says all the officials and all the citizens will be like their ruler. Okay. And just how the king is how his people are. That's the manner of his people. Okay. Everybody here wicked as hell. Why? Because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Wickedness has, exceedingly polluted the whole earth. So everybody's in that same, in that same formation, man. Everybody's in that same energy. Okay. It says an uneducated king will ruin his people, but a government will grow strong if its rulers are wise. And that's why in due time, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to bring the true great reset. You see, because the great reset that these devils is bringing is a reset of wickedness, man. All right. They want to multiply even more wickedly than they already have been. Okay. And it's and their great reset is to usher in their new world order. Okay. Their technology. Okay. Their devices of Satan, basically. All right. So it says an uneducated king will ruin his people, but a government will grow strong if its rulers are wise. The Lord Yahweh Shai sees the government of the world and brings the right person to power at the right time. The success of that person is in the Lord's hands. The Lord Yahweh Shai is the source of the honor given to any official. All right. And, ultimately the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to give, that rulership to his son. All right. Because when you read it in the regular Ecclesiasticus 10:3, it says an unwise king destroyeth this people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh Shai, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. You see, in the hand of Yahweh is the prosperity of man, and upon the purses of the scribes shall he lay his honor. Okay, so the Lord in due time, all right, as the scriptures say, when the righteous are in authority, the people will rejoice. All right, and Yahweh Shai is about to be put into that authority. All right, so this earth could be in total rejoicement. All right, and basically, flourish in purity, man. Okay, it's gonna be, righteously given onto the right hands. All right, and that's what we yearn for. All right, that's why we need the reset of Yahweh Shai and not the reset of Esau. All right, because why? He is destroying this place, man. All right. So with that being said, all right, let's grab a couple of videos that I got that pretty much pushed me to make this video through the spirit. All right, showing you that there's about to be a financial freeze. All right, this world in that financial freeze is brought out for one thing, man, to bring in this MOTB. Okay, this RFID. All right, the device of doom. Okay, so let's grab this one right here. Says Bitcoin is crashing, Ethereum is crashing, XRP is crashing, gold is crashing, silver is crashing, S&P 500 is crashing, NASDAQ is crashing, banks are crashing. The US dollar is crashing. Even home prices are crashing. Who broke the system and what is going on? All right. And we know who's the ones that's behind closed doors. All right. Doing this. You have basically what? Your elites, man. Okay. Your elites are the ones that are making these moves. All right. Because again, it's all about them conspiring together to bring in this NWO. Okay, they want to have total control worldwide. All right, starting with the top banking families. All right, of Esau, Edom. Okay, because they're the ones that are on the top rulership above all the nations. All right, now you have all these different nations that have their own, elites. Okay, but the top ones that are ruling are Esau, Edom. All right, and they are the ones that are pulling the strings behind closed doors, man, to basically crash this economy here in America and to basically crash the global economy. All right, because in order for them to bring this NWO and make it a one world order, all right, a one world religion, all right, everything under one, rulership, okay, and this rulership is a Luciferian satanic rulership that they want you to be under. All right, it has to involve everything internationally also, because this is a global thing. All right, this is just not in America. Okay, this is a global thing. So who are the ones that are breaking the system? The elites. As the scriptures tell you in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You see, so this is their world. This is they're the ones that are in total control. All right, because the Lord is allowing the wicked to have this society, man. Because see, the earth to come there's no room for any of these nations. There's no room for the wicked anymore. All right, so they're the God of this world. All right, so in this world they have the power to do whatever they want. You see, and that's why we got to pray that we get the hell up out of here, man. Because if we stay here any longer, they will continue to reign over us. You see, and the world was created for our sakes at the end of the day. As a matter of fact, when you go into, let me grab that real quick. You go into Second Ezra's. All right, this is Second Ezra's 6 and I'll take it from 56. It says, as for the other people which also come of Adam, actually, I'll go up one, right? 2. It said up 2. It says, and after these, Adam also, who thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord Yahushua, because thou made the world for our sakes. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord Yahushua, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall we endure? You see, so that's proof that we're supposed to be, this world was created for our sakes. All right. But see, as the scriptures say, the world here is for many, but the world to come is for few. You see, so the Lord has given this earth, all right, into the hand of the wicked, because this is not our rest, as it tells you in Micah 2:10. Okay, this is not a rest. It says, arise and depart, for this is not your rest. It is polluted. Okay, it will destroy you with a sword of destruction. So this place is literally polluted with wickedness. Okay, and it's to show you how much we need Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, because without Yahushai, there is no new world, no new heavens. You see, there is no world where there dwelleth in righteousness. Okay, we will all be consumed here if the Lord did not shorten the days for the elect's sake. Okay, we all be turned into transhumanism, man. We'd be walking cyborgs up in here. You see, because this devil, all right, is completely in rulership, all right. And what is he about to do? He's about to give you a financial freeze, man, all right, and basically stop all things to usher in this NWO, to usher in his ultimate agenda of making you a digital slave under what? Under this RFID CHIP, okay? And this is why even more, man, that we have to pray that we get up out of here, man, all right? Which we're almost home at the end of the day, right? So let's go. Let's grab another one, right? This says, breaking US dollar recall is coming to America. Washington just confirmed plans to replace the traditional US dollar with a brand new digital version. If you hold US dollars in any bank account, you must prepare. All right, hold on. You must prepare before the switch goes live. Okay. And at the end of the day, there's nothing you can really do about it, man. All right. There is no trying to find a switch to it. You know, there's no way of you really, you know, you could kind of be smart for a little bit, but at the end of the day, everything is going to collapse, man. All right. Remember, this is a global thing that's going to be ushered in. This is a global snare that ultimately Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah is putting on the whole entire world, man, because we are at the end of this thing. All right. And what the Lord is just doing is he's separating the sheep from the goats. See who is the ones that truly believe him. All right. Out of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and who don't, who wants to stay in this world and be destroyed. Okay. So it says, and this is, you know, what it looks like, the article, right? It says, this isn't a conspiracy. It's the biggest monetary shift in 100 years. They are calling it dollar 2.0, a new programmable version of the dollar that will replace cash and checking accounts. All right. And this is going to be by the way of what? A digital system. Okay. We live in the fourth industrial revolution of things, right? The internet of things. All right. So everything is digitalized. Okay. This is why we're moving to nothing but pure technology, computers, machines, robots. Okay. That's what's to come. It says a new programmable version of the dollar that will replace cash and checking accounts. It will change how money moves, how it's spent, and who controls it. Okay. It says more than 110 U.S. banks have already, all right, coined the pilot network building dollar 2.0. Bank of America calls it the foundation for the next generation of U.S. money. Okay. And these are all key words to show you that this is actually, you know, a change into this RFID, CBDCs, right? The central banking systems, basically, right? CBDs, central banking dollars, basically. All right. So, you know, this is something that we have to embrace for. You know, we have to, you know, buckle up. Okay. More than ever, because it's going to be a shift that the world cannot handle, man. Okay. Yeah, some people are, you know, willingly, you know, getting this RFID, okay? But even when it does come, they're not going to be able to handle it because the elites have had the world in a trick bag the whole entire time, man. It's far more than what you just think. It's a change of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Do you think it's just a change of society, man? All right, it's a spiritual warfare that's going on right now. It's really a warfare for your souls, man, at the end of the day. So it ain't even, you know, it ain't even about money. It ain't even about, you know, them trying to, you know, bring in their satanic, you know, society. Okay. It's all about a war between Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and this damn devil. Okay. It's a war between him trying to, you know, be the most high. Okay, they trying to be higher than Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. It's almost as if they're trying to defeat the Heavenly Father and X him out completely with his technology. Like if this nigga's about to make some type of machine to zap the Heavenly Father and make him disappear. All right. That's what it really is about at the end of the day, man. All right. We just the pawns in the midst of it. All right. And him using us to be digital slaves and make us bow down to him is just him just trying to throw it in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai's face. You see? So continuing on, right? It says, even Fed Chair Jerome Powell admitted US CBDC, okay, could help maintain the dollar's international standing. All right, see, showing you this is going to be an international thing. Meanwhile, the world is dumping dollars. China, Russia, Brazil, even Saudi Arabia, their goal, a new de-dollarized financial system. All right, and that's why they have this BRICS nation, okay, trying to establish their own. Everybody's moving away from America, okay? Nobody wants to deal with America because, you know, it's part of that global collapse. Even though America is just one country, America is that runs the whole globe, basically. You see? So without America, all right, this place is done for. You see? And all these international, you know, countries are teaming up to de-dollarize America's dollar. You see? And that's what's going to cause a global collapse along with a collapse of America. It's just that America's going to be hit the hardest. Okay? Because America's that cash cow. It says their goal, a new de-dollarized financial system. Washington's response, recall old dollars, then replace them with a digital currency under full control of the Fed. And but here's what nobody tells you. Every financial reset creates two groups, those who lose everything overnight and those who position themselves before the switch. All right. And that's what that financial freeze is going to be about. Okay. Everybody going to wake up one day just going to have everything lost. Okay. And it says, and those who position themselves before the switch. And who's the only ones that can really position themselves before that switch? The ones that are doing it, the elites. So those are the only ones that are going to be good. That's why there's going to be rich and poor category only. There's going to be no in between no more, because the only ones that are going to be rich is these elites. Okay, the rest is going to be poor. That's why we tell you niggas that, oh, I got money, I got this and a bit. Nigga, you was about to be broke like everybody else. All right, the time will come where everybody will feel the same exact way. All right, and be broke as hell unless you are a top banking family member. Okay, and these elites don't just allow anybody to come into their society. All right, you have to be born into it. You have to be, you know, of their people, of their lineage, basically. Okay, and there's only so many that rule. It's a secret society for a reason. It's not many people in it. Okay. And they could care less about their own families, man. It's about them having their own greed, living in their own pride, right? It says, because this time, the recall isn't just a threat. It's a once in a generation wealth window, all right? And, hey, who's the only ones that have generational wealth? Okay, these elites. When you go into Job, the 20th chapter, all right, it tells you, 21st chapter, Salakia, 21, and let's take it from 7. It says, wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yeah, and are mighty. This is 21 and 7, are mighty in power. They their seed is established in their sight with them and their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear, neither is Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, all right? Neither is the rod of Yahweh upon them, okay? You see? It says, their bull gendereth and faileth not, their cow calveth and casteth not her calf. They send forth their little ones like a flock, and their children dance. They take the timbrel and harp and rejoice at the sound of the organ. They spend their days in wealth. in a moment go down to the grave. Therefore they say unto Yahweh, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. You see, and that's why they pretty much want to have this N.W.O, okay, basically, you know, nothing that has to do with the Heavenly Father is involved with it, man. Even to the point, like I said, these devils is trying to almost create technology to try to destroy the Lord. You know, like if they could zap him out of thin air, man. These niggas is wild. All right. And it's why? Because their Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is not in their thoughts. You see? And again, they spend their days in wealth. They're the only ones that spend their days in wealth. They are the ones that can pass it on from generation to generation. That's why their seeds are established, man. You're not gonna get that from Jake. Jake just gonna be nigga rich for a summer. That's it. You know? Yeah, these celebrities and these actors and actresses, yeah, they might have some type of heavy money flow going in, right? But when they die, that shit ain't gonna be passed down. Absolutely not. It's gonna be taken away from them, and it's gonna be given right back to Uncle Sam. You see, you're only being used at the moment because you know you're a helper of their wicked society. You see, and that's why he that help, you know, shall fail at the end of the day with them. You're gonna all fail together. Okay, so let's grab that in the NLT. It says, "Why do the wicked prosper, grow old and powerful? They live to see their children grow up and settle down, and they enjoy their grandchildren. Their homes are safe from fear." All right, from every fear, yeah, because it tells you in Psalm 73rd chapter, man. They are not in trouble like other men are. They are not plagued like other men. Okay. Neither is the rod of Yahweh upon them. Meaning, you know, not that the Lord is not against them, but the Lord is not, you know, executing judgment speedily upon them. That's why their hearts are set to continually do evil. But we know that the Lord, all right, just like Asaph, when he entered into that sanctuary, he then realized what their end was, man. We realize now that their end is what? Death. That the Lord is reserving them for the day of judgment. You see? The Lord has reserved, he has made the day of judgment for the wicked, man. So it says, their homes are safe from every fear, and Yahweh does not punish them. Their bulls never fail to breed. Their cows bear calves and never miscarry. They let their children frisk about like lambs. Their little ones skip and dance. They sing with tambourine and harp. They celebrate to the sound of the flute. Meaning what? They're joyful, man. These people walking around without a care in the world. You see? See, we can't sit here and sing a song and dance because we're in fucking captivity, man. So there's no way, all right, that we can sit around here and act like we're enjoying life because the wicked beareth rule, so the people gonna mourn. And the only ones that's gonna be joyful is the wicked, because the wicked is in rulership, you see? So it says they spend their days in prosperity, then go down to the grave in peace. You see, do all this wickedness, right? Have all these atrocities popping off throughout their life. You know, they got all this blood on their hands, and then these niggas go down to the grave, you know, with a big ass smile. You see? But the time is coming that when the true great reset of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai comes, that's why they're gonna wake up in torments, you know, just like when you go into the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, man. Okay. Matter of fact, let's just grab that real quick, right? This is Luke 16, and let's take it from 19. The rich man and Lazarus, right? And it says, and there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and right, and this rich man is representation of Esau. All right, the one that's in rulership. Why is he clothed in purple and fine linen? Because that represents royalty, which that's what we're supposed to be clothed in. All right, But because he rules on this side, he's considered as this royal being, right? It says, and fared sumptuously every day, meaning what? That he lived in luxury every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which that is a representation of Jake, right? Israel, the nation of Israel, which was laid at his gates and full of sores, meaning what? You know, we're under his rulership, okay? We've been battered, beaten, okay? Under his rulership. It says, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Yeah, we desire to be like him. You know, you got Jake just really trying to make a dollar and a dream out of nothing, just like Esau, because Esau came from fucking nothing, man. And he made shit happen, but because the Lord put him in that rulership, the Lord wanted to show you how he could take something from being at the bottom, right? Something that is the basis of men, all right? More vile than the earth, as the scriptures say. They were children of fools, children of base men. They were more violent than the earth, all right? He took them and put them into rulership, you see? But see, the time is coming when the Lord is going to reverse those roles, right? Let's grab that real quick. 1 Samuel 2:10, right? It said, 8. He raiseth up. Matter of fact, let's take it from 7. The Lord Yahweh maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust. The poor is a representation of us. And lifted up the beggar from the dunghill to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are of the Lord Yahweh, and he has set the world upon them. You see? He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail. You see? So the Lord can take something that's so low and raise it up. And he has raised the basis of men. All right. As it tells you in, let me just grab the basis of men, KJV. Let me just grab this. This is Daniel 4:17. And it says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers, right? It says, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, right? Because he's the one that controls everything, right? So he setteth up kings, he destroyeth kings, and he setteth up kings, okay? It says, and give it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. So he has set up the base man to rule in this world, but in the kingdom to come, he has set up, right, Yahushai. He has set up the righteous to rule. That's why the kingdom is going. The saints shall take over the kingdom for generation to generation. Man, we shall rule forever and ever. That's the beauty of it. We're suffering here in this shithole, all right. But what's to come is forever. You see. So going back, so he's going to lift up the beggar from the dunghill, right? So let's go back to Luke 16 and 21. And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores, talking about these other nations, right? They all helped, okay, in the process to keep us down and to bring us down, right? It says, and they benefited off of us, basically. It says, and it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. And the rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. Yeah, because the time comes that we all going to be taken out of the way, all right? But the elect is going to be beamed up, all right? The elect, all right, is also going to die, but we're going to be raised up in what? In incorruption, you see? It says, and was carried by the angels and into Abraham's bosom, and the rich man also died and was buried, and in hell he lift up his eyes. So when he wake up, see, this nigga gonna be in fucking captivity, man. See, now he gonna be in that great reset for real. That great reset is gonna be when he wake up and Yahweh Shai's in total control of things and total rulership. You see, that's why he gonna have to serve in hardcore labor, man. Okay, and then gonna be eventually taken away, and it's gonna be disintegrated, man. Gonna be taken out of the way, never to be heard of again. He gonna be blotted out, as the scriptures tell you in 109, Psalms 109. Right? Matter of fact, let me just grab that real quick. Psalms 109, and I'll get straight to the point. Right? 8. Let his days be few, and let another take his office. Let his children be fatherless, and his wife a widow. Let his children be continual vagabonds and beg. You see? And that's what when we go back to Luke 16, that's what he does. He was begging on to Abraham, meaning us. It was a representation of us, to have mercy on him. But see, nigga, you ain't give us mercy, so we ain't giving you no mercy, right? It says, let them seek their bread also out of their desolate places. Let the extortioner catch all that he has, and let the stranger spoil his labor. Let there be none to extend mercy unto him, neither let there be any to favor his fatherless children. Let his posterity be cut off, and in the generation following, let their name be blotted out. You see, that's why Esau's the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man. You see? So when you go back to Luke 16, right, it says, and it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried, and in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torment, seeing Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, and he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. You see? But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime received thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. You see? So the Lord not going to have no mercy on this fool. Okay? He going to have to feel and drink of that cup. That same cup that we drank out of, he got to drink out of it. And then see, when you're done with your cup, all right, you're done. You see, you're going to be blotted out, never to be heard of again. You see? So now you understand why they spend their days in wealth, man. Okay. Right. So, matter of fact, let me continue on in Job 21. Right. They spend their in 13. They spend their days in wealth, and in a moment go down to the grave. Therefore, they say unto Yahweh, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him? Lo, their good is not in their hand, and the counsel of the wicked is far from me. How oft is the candle of the wicked put out, and how oft cometh their destruction upon them? Yahweh distributed sorrows in his anger, you see, and eventually, all right, as it tells you in the 20th verse, I mean, in the was it the 20th verse? 30th verse. I'm gonna just jump down to it. It says that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction. They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. You see, they're gonna be brought forth to that true great reset. You see, in the midst of his reset, the Lord gonna reset his ass. You see, that's why the Lord was allowing him to try to make this great reset. All right, because it's a transformation of powers, man. All right. The kingdom is being translated from one power to another, from one people to another, because of their because of the way they ruled it. You see? Give me a second. Fucking cold in here. It's so cold outside right now. It's it's like 10 degrees, but it's the wind is at 30 miles per hour almost, and it's fucking it's like it feels like below. I think they were saying it was like it's supposed to feel like below 3 out here, and that's what it feels like. It goes right through the windows, and because we've been able to manage to not have heat. Well, we have heat, we just haven't turned it on because for some reason everybody else around the unit turns on the heat and it keeps our house warm. But because we haven't turned that shit on, that shit is just going through the windows right now. Shit wild. Had to turn on my little heat over here. But anyway, continuing on. All right. Let's go back to what I was reading in Instagram, right? These this great, reset, this financial freezing that's popping off. Okay. So we were at the part where it says Bank of America calls it the foundation for the next generation of US money. All right. It says Salakia, bear with me. I don't know. The lights got cut off in here. I had to put on my breakers, reset my breakers. I don't know why they did that, and it wasn't because of my heat, because I've used my heat before over here. I don't know if the whole unit. Just give me 1 second. I'm waiting for the my Wi-Fi box to turn on so I can switch it to my other phone, because I can't read what because I'm on my other phone right now. And if you hear that noise in the back, that's my fish tank is resetting because it just cut off. But going into what I was saying, right? I can't really read it right now. But they're talking about a heavy financial freeze, all right, with the dollar right now. That's why you have, I think we was just read, I think I read it or I was about to read it. It was talking about 100 and something banks have closed, all right? And that's for a reason, man, because they're about to bring in, all right, this N.W.O. See, that's why you got to have the eyesight to see these things, man, to understand it, all right? Because without the eyesight of the Heavenly Father, you won't understand it when it drops. You won't even see it coming. That's why a lot of people, as a matter of fact, I'm going to read another part where it says Bill Gates was talking about, or was it Elon Musk? It was one of the two, was saying that that Americans, how was he putting it? That they were not going to be prepared. Goes. Give me 1 second. Let me get this damn. Okay, here we go. It's turning on now. Let me switch sides real quick. One second. All right, there you go. Shalom. Damn. All right, there we go. There you go. I'm tripping. Everything tripping right now. All right. So let me read what I was reading, right? Damn, man, that damn fish tank. Shit annoying me right now. Salaki about that. No, it's gonna it's the water. It's filling back up. It'll eventually come on though. Salaki is annoying too. All right, so it says and that ain't nothing but that. Honestly, that ain't nothing but shaitan cutting off my fucking power and shit. It says even Fed Chair Jerome Powell admitted a U.S. CBDC could help maintain the dollar's international standing. Right. Then okay, this is where we was at. Salakia. Then it says, meanwhile, the world is dumping dollars. China, Russia, Brazil, even Saudi Arabia, their goal, a new de-dollarized financial system. Washington's response, recall old dollars, then replace them with a digital currency under full control of the Fed. But here's what nobody tells you. It says every financial reset creates two groups, those who lose everything overnight and those who position themselves before the switch. And that's where we went into these elites. All right, because the only ones that are going to be able to basically, position themselves before the switch is going to be the elites, because they're the ones that are bringing in the switch. So they're the only ones that really have the heads up on it, right? It says because this time the recall isn't just a threat; it's a once in a generation wealth window. All right, and that's how we kept going into speaking about wealth. But only if you understand what's actually happening. And who's the only ones that understand? The elite, the prophets, man. The elect is the only ones that are woke to these things, you see, and then the elites. So it's only two types of people that know what's going on: the elites and the elect, right? So it says behind the scenes, businesses are panicking. Digital dollar equals new payment systems, and this means total confusion. And that's right. All right, that's why this is Babylon the Great. Babylon goes back to being Babel, right? Which Babel means what? Confusion, right? And that's why the scriptures tell you that you putting your trust in this system is going to be your shame and your confusion, right? Isaiah, all right? Let me just grab that. This is Isaiah 31 and 1. Woe to them, Salakia, 30 and 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked in my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. You see? That's why we tell you not to depend. As a matter of fact, it tells you right here, NLT, the third verse. By trusting Pharaoh, you will be humiliated, and by depending on him, you will be disgraced. You see, it's going to bring what? Total confusion towards you. Okay. So it says small businesses have no idea how to adapt. And that's exactly where the opportunity lies. Let me explain. Businesses will pay 5 figures a year to help them navigate AI-powered digital payment systems. You don't have to be tech genius. You don't have to create AI apps, but all you have to do is act as the middleman. Here's how. All right. It says rent out AI systems to businesses, spend 3 to 4 hours a week managing them, charge them a monthly recurring fee. This is the exact strategy I've been using to generate a full-time income working 3-4 hours. I guess the guy's just trying to push his little ways upon people, right? It says 99% of the people are panicking about AI taking over. The 1% is quietly using the AI boom to build wealth. Exactly. That's why they're going to be the only ones that have the heads up. If you don't know how I do it, comment yes for my blueprint. All right, whatever. Okay. So now let's grab another article, right? As a matter of fact, a video real quick. All right. Hold on, man. Let me put water in this damn thing. 2 seconds, because this should drive me nuts. This shit driving me nuts. I don't understand why that shit making that noise. I think it cut off at the wrong time. It shouldn't have to cut off like that. But continuing on, right? This is a video. It says financial freeze could happen overnight.
They're planning to freeze the financial system, and they'll replace it. When the next crisis hits, the elites are planning to freeze the financial system, and they'll replace it with a new system, one not based on the US dollar. When that happens, we'll wake up to a very strange and disturbing new reality.
And for our viewers that are watching today, what might their reality look like that morning? How does this manifest?
First, they'll have gone to bed knowing that a massive financial crisis was underway. But when they wake up, they'll find it has worsened and the contagion has spread worldwide. When they go to withdraw money, their ATM will say closed temporarily. When they go to sell stocks, their account will say transaction not available. When they go to their local business, that business will only accept cash if it's open. As citizens realize they're being barred from the money, riots will erupt. They rigged the financial laws, changed the rules of the game to allow this to happen. The stage is set. They have the levers in place. The lights are positioned. Now someone just needs to flick a switch. When the next crisis hits, the elites are planning to freeze the financial system.
And see, what he said at the end was crazy. He said all they got to do is flick the switch. And that's how it really be.
The levers in place. The lights are positioned. Now someone just needs to flick a switch.
They have the power to just really do that. You know? And a snap of a finger, they can just cut everything off, man. That's why you got to be prepared for it. That's why the scriptures say, you know, be ready so you ain't got to get ready, man. If the good man will have watch and won't watch, the thief will come. He will not suffer his house to be broken up. So we're staying on top of things and staying ready because we know that any day the wrath of the Lord could come. Because when they ultimately do that, when everything just shuts down, is because the Heavenly Father put the Spirit on him to do that. You see? And you have to be prepared for it, man. Okay? So let's just listen to what he's saying again.
When the next crisis hits, the elites are planning to freeze the financial system, and they'll replace it with a new system, one not based on the US dollar. When that happens, we'll wake up to a very
and that's going to be what? The RFID, the MOTB.
Disturbing new reality.
And for our viewers that are watching today, what might their reality look like that morning? How does this manifest?
First, they'll have gone to bed knowing that a massive financial crisis was underway. But when they wake up, they'll find it has worsened and the contagion has spread worldwide. When they go to withdraw money, their ATM will say closed temporarily. When they go to sell stocks, their account will say transaction not available. When they go to their local business, that business will only accept cash if it's open. As citizens realize they're being barred from their money, riots will erupt. They rigged the financial laws, changed the rules of the game to allow this to happen. The stage is set. They have the levers in place. The lights are positioned.
And what did he say? He said it's going to start a rise. That's what's going to cause, even more sedition among the people, man, to stand up against their governments. That's what's going to cause more of a civil war, an intense civil war. All right. That's what this is all being planned for right now, man. These things are happening right in front of your face, little by little. All right. But niggas is worrying about fucking protesting. These people worrying about, trying to stand up together against the government for the wrong reasons, not understanding that this is what's really the agenda behind the closed doors, man. They're collapsing your whole entire country. They're collapsing everything that you have been around, basically. You see? So let's grab, I think I got one more. And I think I definitely have an article. All right. This one says, is the U.S. setting the stage for a dollar reset? Okay. And they're basically showing, this guy. Right. Hold on. Let me take that song out. It says a Plaza Accord 2.0 could be coming. The U.S. dollar is powerful again, but strength never lasts forever. And that's damn for sure. It says back in 1985, the dollar became too powerful. A surging dollar crushed U.S. exports and blew out America's trade deficit. Then came the Plaza Accord. The U.S., Japan, Germany, France, and the U.K. agreed to weaken the dollar together. All right, showing you that all these nations, all right, all these elites of all these other nations are in cahoots with each other. They all sit at a round table together, bro, and they pretty much sit there trying to conspire against the world, all right, and ultimately conspire against you Jakes, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? It says the dollar dropped nearly 50%. U.S. dollar, JPY, fell from, meaning the yuan, I believe that is I guess that's it says Y260 to Y120. Then yen, all right, yeah, the yen doubled in value. That's what it's talking about, the yens, right? It says markets didn't stay quiet. Gold surged, commodities rallied, global assets rallied hard. The setup looks familiar. Massive U.S. trade deficits again. Japan under pressure again. Yen near historic weakness. Traders are whispering, could governments coordinate again? Is the dollar's peak closer than it looks? If the dollar turns, everything moves. A weaker dollar could reshape stocks, gold, commodities, and portfolios. Watch U.S. dollar, Japan yen closely. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And what's crazy is if you want to know what's going to happen to us in our future, all you got to do is always look at China, okay? Because China has always desired to be just like America, okay? So you can see, what's going on with China, with Japan out there, okay? To actually know what's going to happen pretty much in America. That's why they already have their infrastructure with this whole, social credit system. They have the, their little basic, universal basic income going on out there. Okay. They already set up in place what they're trying to set up here in America. Okay. And it's already set up internationally. All right. Which, America basically said, you had the IMF that was saying that, digital IDs were not going to be enough. So we're probably going to skip that process and go straight to, a collapse and straight into that RFID, that MOTB, you see, because America is going to be the leader of that. And then trying to gain all these other nations, all right, to fall into, have that, how they always have done. They have made all the nations, drink their wine, and that's why eventually, these nations will be mad, and they're already getting mad at America. They're already starting to turn against this place, right? So that was the end of that. Let me play this because this is a whole lie. Matter of fact, nah, I ain't even gonna play that. Let me get to this article and then I pretty much close it out. All right, with a couple scriptures. This is Elon Musk warns America will 1,000% go bankrupt, fail as a country due to crazy debt. Protect your finances, it says, right? And what does Habakkuk, the second chapter, speak about? All right, him that lathered himself with clay. You know, that's him having that crazy debt. All right, America's always in debt. Let's grab that real quick. This is Habakkuk 2 and 6 is actually. It says, shall not all these, all right? Matter of fact, let's take it from 5. Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. All right, talking about Esau, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Right? And how's he gonna do that? By the way of his system, this N.W.O, this new technology, right? It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that lathered himself with thick clay, right? And that thick clay goes into him being in debt. Okay, that's why you always hear about America being in a $1 trillion deficit. We owe this, we owe that, and this is why Esau pretty much goes to all these countries and tries to take over shit because they're in so much debt, you know. So the only way they can make up for it is by, you know, taking oil from people, you know, going to other people countries and taking their resources. You see, that's why this devil got to go, man. Right. So in the NLT it says, wealth is treacherous and arrogant, and the arrogant never are at rest. They open their mouths as wide as a grave, and like death, they are never satisfied. In their greed, they have gathered up many nations and swallowed many peoples. All right, and that's going to be again by the way of this technology. All right, but soon their captives will taunt them. They will mock them, saying, what sorrow awaits you thieves? Now will you get what you deserve? You become rich by extortion. How much longer can this go on? You see? So again, you know, because of, as the scriptures say, because of injuries and riches gotten by deceit, you see, the kingdom is translated from one people to another, okay? That's that great reset, you see? That's why I continue to say there's 2 resets upon us, man. And there's only one of them that's going to be the true great reset, Yahweh Shai's reset, okay? Because the reset of this world is to bring in more wickedness and more, you know, slavery. But the great reset of Yahweh Shai is to establish righteousness upon the earth, right? So let's go into that real quick. This little article, I'll read a little bit. Let me see how long it is. All right. Let's see how long it is. Looks a little long, but I'll read a little bit. All right. It says, Elon Musk is issuing a stark warning about the U.S. fiscal path, right? It says, and he says the clock is ticking, and that's for damn sure the clock is ticking. All right. That's why the devil's come down onto you with great wrath, because he has but a short time. So that clock is definitely ticking. All right. All right. The triumphing of the wicked is short. It says in a February 5th appearance on the Dwarkish podcast, Musk argued that America is on course to go bankrupt as a country as national debt climbs and interest costs grow harder to manage. And when they're in a big debt like that, that's why they have to crash the economy. And that's why they have to bring in this new, this N.W.O, this new technology. You see, that's the only way they can erase that debt, basically. All right. It says we are 1,000% going into bankrupt as a country and fail as a country without AI and robots. You see, this is why they're going to bring this technology, the fourth industrial revolution of things, which we're already in it. Okay. But now they're going to intensify it. Okay. AI is going to require you to have a MOTB, and robots are going to be among us, and they're among us now. Right? They're taking jobs and everything. It says, number one, he said, number one, nothing else will solve the national debt. There you go. It says the Treasury Department puts U.S. national debt at 38.56 trillion, and it continues to rise as federal spending outpaces revenue. Two, so far in fiscal year 2026, the government has already spent about 602 billion more than it has collected. Holy shit, right? And this is only the first damn month of 2026. Musk core claims that that without a major productivity step change driven by artificial intelligence and robotics, the debt trajectory becomes increasingly dangerous. He also emphasizes how much strain is already coming from debt service. The interest payments on national debt exceed the military budget, which is $1 trillion. So we have $1 trillion just in interest payments, he said. The cost may keep climbing. The Committee of Responsible Federal Budget projects interest payments will surpass 1.5 trillion in 2032 and reach 1.8 trillion by 2035, which we ain't gonna be here that long. You best believe that. All right. Musk isn't alone in sounding the alarm. Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates, have repeatedly warned about a potential death spiral where the government borrows to cover interest, creating a feedback loop that can worsen over time. Dalio, however, doesn't expect a traditional bankruptcy style outcome. There won't be a default. The central bank will come in and will print the money and buy it, he said, and that's where the depreciation of money, okay? It says, in plain terms, the government may be able to keep paying bills in nominal dollars, but the purchasing power of those dollars could erode. A scenario that hits savers and fixed income earners hardest. Musk has previously echoed this concern, warning that if trends persist, the dollar's going to be worth nothing. You see, inflation's long arc shows how purchasing power can fade. The Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis estimates that $100 in 2025 has the same purchasing power as $12.06 did in 1970. And it's funny that they even said that, right? The Federal Bank Reserve of Minneapolis. I wonder, hey, that through the spirit, that's probably why so much shit is happening right now in Minneapolis, you see? Because this is where this federal banking system is at, all right? But it says, so what can individual investors do if they're worried about debt, inflation, and currency depreciation? Historically, the answer has been diversification and owning assets that can behave differently when traditional portfolios struggle. All right. And I ain't even going to read the rest of it because it's long. All right. But you see, they need a diverse system. And the diverse system comes in with what? This N.W.O. You see, Musk said it himself. We cannot erase the debt unless we bring AI and robotics involved with it. You see? And that just goes to prove, all right, the great reset is among us. You see? A financial freeze incoming of all your assets, all your banks, all your money that you've been holding on to is going to be worth nothing, man. Because they have an agenda of bringing in this MOTB. Okay, why? Because he has but a short time. So he just wants to. He never satisfied with what he has. He not satisfied with death. So what? He's gonna heap onto him all nations. He gonna bring all these nations together. All right, into this one system. And see, that's what's eventually gonna have America pretty much be, blown to smithereens, because Esau just want to take America and be the top forever and ever and ever. Okay, not realizing that he's already weak. America's already weak, and these nations are sick and tired of America trying to bully, because that's what America has always done: bully, bully, bully. They want, but they can't even pay their own debts. They can't even hold their end of the bargain when it comes to peace treaties and shit like that. So the Lord has it to the point where all these nations are mad at them. Let's grab that real quick, right? The nations are mad. This is Jeremiah 51:7. It says, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, therefore the nations are mad. You see? And that's why, all right, each and one of them, like it tells you in Obadiah, okay, even your allies are against you. All right, Obadiah 1:7, and let's grab it from NLT. All your allies will turn against you. They will help to chase you from your land. They will promise you peace. See, just like you promise peace to people, you see, and you never do it. Well, these nations are going to promise peace, and they're going to basically, plot against you. You see, they're going to hit you with the okie doke, right? Why plot? While plotting to deceive and destroy you, your trusted friends will set traps for you, and you won't even know about it. You see? So eventually, all right, Babylon being that golden cup in the Lord's hand, all right, well, now he's going to have to drink of that cup. You see, America's going to be totally annihilated in the fullness of their sufficiency, man, of them thinking that they're going to rule the world, like Pinky in the Brain. They're going to have the world in the palm of their hands, all right, and then all of a sudden the Lord, all right, is going to rain righteousness upon him. You see, he's going to destroy him with thermonuclear missiles. Okay, America's going to never be inhabited again, from California to New York City. All right. And it's going to become a habitation of what? Devils, and of every, unclean and foul bird. You see? And that's a beautiful thing, because this place has exceedingly polluted, the earth with the earth with wickedness, man. And there's only a matter of time, all right, that when you're so damn wicked, all right, the wages of sin is what? Death. So America has waged, sin after sin upon the world, and the only way out is what? Death. All right, as it tells you in, let me grab this. I'll pretty much end it with this. This is Numbers, all right, 30, 35, and 33, right? So ye shall not pollute the land wherein you are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. You see, he has to be taken out of the way. Why? Because, he has established this place based on what? Iniquity, robbery, bloodshed. Habakkuk 2:12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and established a city by iniquity. You see, America was basically raised on bloodshed, man. Okay, bloodshed of our brethren, of our people, the indigenous being destroyed to the point where the indigenous only got a piece of land, man. It went from having the whole entire United States, right, to now they have, I believe, their last little piece of land is all the way in fucking Wyoming at the end of America, man. So, death is coming to this place, man. Heavy destruction, all right, of a true great reset is going to come to America, and is right around the corner. And that's why we just got to hold on a little tighter, And hey, that's the faith and the patience of the saints. To have patience means to what? To, you know, suffer. We're suffering here in captivity, man. All right, but the time is coming. I'll end it with this, as a matter of fact, that the Lord is going to come with a stretched out arm. Okay, this is Second Ezra 15. And let's grab it from, I'll take it from 10. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt, meaning America, with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plagues and the punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. You see? And that's what we wait for, man. We can't wait till the Lord destroys this place. All right? Because look at how we live, man. We got to live in straight hell on a daily basis. You know, a mental captivity, a physical captivity, a fucking emotional captivity, all types of captivities. All right? So, you know, may Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai bob a ball real soon. All right, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Through the Spirit, Lord willing, you will edify. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, call Halon and La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aquat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, enduring as good soldiers of Yahweh Shai. On to the next one, Shalom.